So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan here again, and this is another mechanical video. My youngest daughter's 2004 Nissan Xterra had one of the speakers blown on the right front door. And being as though we were doing the one, I just decided to do all four because this vehicle was getting pretty old. So this video is going to go over step-by-step removal and installation of the door panels for the front speakers and the trim in the back cargo area for the rears, the actual speakers themselves. I'm also going to go over wiring. The wiring I do go over in this video will help you with any car audio installation, not just this Nissan, as far as making sure you hook these speaker wires up correctly. This isn't a straight swap over because of how stupid the factory speakers are, but I will show you the problems and the resolutions to those problems so you don't get frustrated like I did. I also ended up installing a new stereo in this vehicle as well that has a reverse camera. As of right now, I have not edited that video, but as soon as I do get it edited, I will post it on an icon at the end of this video if you want to check it out. So I got everything for this project off of Amazon. These are the front speakers, and then these are the rears that I got. I did have a little bit of a problem with the rears that I'm going to go over. And then these are some spacer adapters that come in very handy to install the front speakers, and I'll explain that. And even though I didn't purchase these and do this on this installation, I highly recommend you getting these, and I'll explain why in this video. So let's get to it. So the front speakers are obviously in the front doors, and you will need to remove the door panels in order to change them out. There's a little clip up by the mirror on the inside that you will need to remove, and that just pops out. I've got a trim tool, but you can use just a flathead screwdriver. There are two Phillips head screws you will need to remove. One is inside the pull handle on the armrest, and the other one is inside the door handle. You will also have to remove the trim that is around that door handle. I used my trim tool to remove this, but you can also do it with that flathead screwdriver. You just want to be careful when leveraging it. You're going to want to roll down your window all the way to make it easier to remove this door panel. Now, if you have electric windows, obviously you won't have to worry about this step, removing the window crank handle, and this is by far the most annoying thing about removing these door panels. Now, I used my trim panel tool just to leverage the door panel away from the window crank a little bit to allow me to get a 90-degree pick in there. There is a clip that you need to pry away from the window crank in order to remove it. I get a little better view of removing that clip on the passenger side door panel, so that's what you're looking at right here. You will have to remove the armrest. You just lift up on the side of it, and then there is a little clip that holds it in on the other side. And the same goes for the front part of the armrest where the pull handle is. You will lift up on the opposite side of that one, and then there is a clip that holds it in place that you can use a screwdriver to help leverage it out. Once getting those off, there's going to be one screw under each one of those panels that you will need to remove in order to remove the door panel. Once those two screws are out, then you should start from the bottom of the door panel and pull it away from the door. There's plastic clips that also help hold this door panel in place. Once you get most of those clips popped out, then carefully lift it up and off the door. Each front door speaker had 3 screws holding it in place, and I used a 10mm socket in order to remove them. Now, built into these speakers is a spacer to space that speaker away from the driver's and passenger windows that are in the door. There's also a special quick disconnect pigtail that they used for these stupid speakers. Do yourself a favor and remove the wiring from the speaker before taking the screws out of the speaker. It will make it easier, and that way if you need a screwdriver like I did to help depress the plastic tab, it's easier to do that with it mounted to the door. I ended up taking it off and then putting it back on to make it easier to get it off and then removing it again. Now, this was my first time doing this, so I didn't know how I was going to go about wiring the new speakers in, and that's why I took the time to remove that. So I did end up cutting off this pigtail end anyways because I had to wire in 2 new spade connectors to connect to the aftermarket speakers. Knowing what I know now, though, I would have bought these adapters off of Amazon. They plug into the factory harness, and then there's 2 female spade connectors that will attach to almost any aftermarket speaker, which would have made this job a heck of a lot faster and definitely worth the $10 that it cost for these adapters. The other good thing about these adapters is it already tells you what is positive and negative to hook up to the new speaker. If you don't get these adapters, then you will have to test out and find out which is positive, negative on the actual harness of the vehicle, which is what I'm doing right here. I've got my multimeter set on DC volts. If your multimeter is set in different ranges as far as the voltage goes, I would start with the lowest setting because there's not much voltage going to these speakers. Make sure your key is in the on position with the stereo on and the volume up a little bit. In order to do this test, you also want to make sure that your fade and balance are equal, so you know you do have a volume trying to get to the wires you're trying to test. So basically all you're going to do is strip back the outer sheathing of the factory wiring harness a little bit, and then strip back the insulation on the wires, and then put your leads on those wires. So right here you can see I've got the black lead on the black and white wire, and the positive lead of my meter, which is actually a green wire, on the blue wire. And I'm reading a positive voltage, so that is correct. If I switch them around, I'm actually getting a negative voltage on my meter, which you can't really see. So basically on this harness, the black with white stripe is negative and the blue is positive for the speaker. Since I didn't get a good video of doing it on the actual vehicle, I'm just giving you this as an example on a AAA battery. So right here I've got my positive lead on the nipple sticking out of the battery, which is the positive, and the black lead, which is the negative, on the back side of it. And I'm reading a positive voltage of 1.55 volts, which is correct. And then I'm going to turn that battery around and do the exact same test, and you'll notice I have a negative reading in front of the 1.56 volts, telling me I am reversed. You can also test the speaker to verify that your positive and negative are correct. Usually the smaller pole on the speaker is going to be your negative, but if you do want to test it, you can use a 9-volt battery and you just touch the connection points. You might have to use jumper wires in order to do this. The connection points on the speaker were just wide enough where I could just touch the battery directly to them. So the small post on a 9-volt battery is the positive, and I've got that touching the large spade connector on the speaker, and that is actually the correct direction. You'll notice that the speaker is popping up when I make contact with that. If I take the battery and flip it over and put the big post, which is the negative, to the large spade connector on the speaker, it actually sucks the speaker down, which would be incorrect. So as with most speakers, the small spade connector on the speaker is the negative and the large connector on the speaker is the positive. So most likely the speakers that you purchase will come with some wire connections included in the speaker box. So right here I'm just taking those ends and butt connecting them to the factory harness. Now I do like to use no insulation butt connectors and then go over the top of them with heat shrink. This is just a personal preference of mine. You're obviously going to use what you have in order to do this. I do recommend getting a good set of crimpers that have a nice wide crimping surface so you don't have that possibility of those wire connections coming loose. And then I went ahead and labeled it with red and black heat shrink to label my positive and negative. Now the factory harness wires were pretty thick. However, the wires that came with the speakers were pretty thin, and I do recommend stripping the insulation back twice as far and folding it over to give you a little bit more wire to crimp down on to give you a better connection. So one of the initial mistakes that I did make during this project was I ordered the aftermarket speakers that said they would work for this vehicle. However, I did not realize that those factory speakers had a built-in spacer on them, so when trying to install the new speakers, the actual magnet of the speaker was almost touching the glass for the window. So at first I just used some plastic spacers that I had laying around in order to space this speaker away from the door a little bit so it would clear that glass driver's door window. However, I didn't really like this setup. I also had to drill some extra holes to mount the speakers because the holes for the factory door did not line up with the new aftermarket speakers. When it was all said and done, I just wasn't happy with it and ended up ordering some aftermarket speaker adapters for this vehicle. These things were well worth the $16 that I paid for them and will save you a bunch of time. Now, one other thing, whether you get these adapter plates or not, you will have to move the speaker wires to the inside of the door instead of on the outside. So all I did was reroute them through the hole they came through on the inside, and then make sure that you go up and down with the window and that they are not rubbing the window as it's moving. You might need some zip ties in order to hold that wiring away from that sliding glass. Make sure you get your positive and negative on the speaker correctly. As we discussed earlier in this video, I actually had to use a pair of small needle nose to hold the bracket where the spade connectors were because they were a pretty tight fit going on the speaker. So right here you can see that those adapter plates bolt right into the factory holes in the door, and then the speakers bolt up directly to those adapter plates, making a nice seamless installation. At this point, I did turn on the stereo and make sure it sounded good before installing the door panel. You're going to want to install that door panel, slide it over the top of the door and then down into position. Make sure all your holes are lined up for those plastic push-in clips and lightly tap the door panel to pop those in. I popped that plastic clip in up by the side mirror, put the screw in by the door handle and tightened it down. Just snapped in the bezel that goes around that door handle. Installed the 2 screws that go under the armrest for the door panel. If you are using a drill, I recommend setting it to a low torque setting so you don't strip these screws out. When putting on the front part of the armrest, you will start by putting the plastic clip in the back side of it, then sliding it down and popping it into position. The rest of the armrest, you're actually going to do the opposite. You'll slide the front end of that one into place and then tap it down on the back side to snap that clip in. And then just go ahead and put your screw in and tighten it down. The clip that you remove to remove the door window crank handle if need be, you just pop that back in position, then put the black plastic cover over it, and then that should just snap into place with a little bit of pressure. So that's all there is to replacing the front speakers. Now we're going to move on to the back speakers. This is strictly going to be the removal and installation of those speakers because we went over everything else with the front speakers as far as checking voltages, etc. So the rear speakers are in the cargo area of this Nissan, and once again you do have to remove some of the trim in order to get to them. There's a long piece of trim by the striker for the rear cargo door, and you just basically lift up carefully to remove those clips. There is a plastic clip towards the upper part of this trim piece, and once again I used my trim tool to remove it. It just pops out. Then you will need to pull the carpet back a little bit to get it out of the way. Towards the front of the cargo area, there's another Phillips screw that you will need to remove. Once removing that screw, you should have enough slack in this trim panel to pull it enough out of the way to access the speaker. You're basically popping loose plastic clips just like you did on the front door panels. So you could lay down the back seats and probably take a couple more screws out to fully remove that piece of paneling, but I didn't feel it was necessary. Using a 10mm socket on my drill, I removed the 4 screws that were holding the factory speaker to the paneling. So I'm going to fast forward through me checking the harness to make sure which was positive and negative, and me hooking up the wires appropriately because we already went through that doing the front speakers. And we're going to jump right into how stupid the factory rear speakers are for this Nissan Xterra. So just like I did for the fronts, I went on Amazon and I plugged in my year, make, and model of my Xterra, and these speakers were supposed to fit. And when I hooked these things up and went to put them in the paneling to tighten the screws down, they do not fit flush against the paneling. I even tried flipping them over just out of curiosity, knowing it wouldn't work, and it still didn't fit. Now I could find some adapter plates for the front, but I could not find any on Amazon for the rear, and it was just a little bit off, so I actually ended up taking a pair of channel locks and just bending the paneling a little bit inward, and then got that speaker to fit flush against the panel where I could put the 4 screws in, and I felt good about the way it was fitting. Now hopefully this isn't the case with all speakers, but with the ones I got, this was a problem on both sides. Basically using my channel locks, I just did little by little and bent it, and then checked it every once in a while to see whether I was close and where I needed to bend it a little bit more. Needless to say, I wasn't very happy that I did have to bend this paneling this way, but the end result did come out okay. Once getting it where it would go flush and put the 4 screws back in to hold the speaker, you could barely tell I did anything with that paneling. Just like the front speakers, I did turn the stereo on and make sure it sounded good before putting the trim back on. Slid it back into position, made sure those plastic clips line up just like the front, and then just popped it into place. Tightened down that screw at the front of the trim panel, and then went ahead and put the plastic clip towards the rear at the top and just pushed it into place. This clip is a 2-piece, so you want to make sure you're kind of separated the top out of the bottom. Push the bottom into place and then push the top into the bottom piece to hold it tight. Then go ahead and lay your carpet back down and put that final piece of trim in place. Line up those holes with the plastic clips and snap it into position. You might need to take a small flathead screwdriver or a pick and work the rubber back up on top of that piece of trim. And that's about all there is to it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you some good information. If so, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. The whole concept of my channel is to give you guys the most information in the least amount of time as possible so I don't waste your time. And I hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.